Hey everyone, Jeremy here. It's Friday night and we're going to create some art. It's going to be awesome. Hopefully you guys had a great week. I know I did. This was a Halloween week and I had a lot of fun. I love Halloween. But I've been drawing so many scary pictures lately. I thought I'd switch it up a little bit and kind of like do a palette cleanser where I draw something cute and something fun just to kind of like, I don't know, get away from the scary stuff. So I'm going to draw a kitten. I see Robert's in the room already. Cold night there in Illinois. Yeah, it's a little bit cold here too. It's so weird. Like we were in the 80s, like I think last week, and now we're dropped down to freezing cold temperatures, like getting little snowflakes, things like that. I'm sure it's not as bad as some other areas in the United States, but it's a little strange for us. Um, I'm a little bit cold myself, as you can see. Uh, I also went and got my flu shot today, which puts me a little bit under the weather, but we'll make it through. This is gonna be a great show. So yeah, hats off to Larry. Cool. Hey Larry. So I'm just gonna jump right in. You know how it goes on Friday nights. I'm more here for the chat than the art, so feel free to chat with me and we'll hang out and have a good time. But otherwise, I'm just gonna get started. So. Um, I'm drawing this on black paper because I really enjoy drawing those white on black paper. So I got my little white pencil here, and I'm just going to draw a kitty cat. Part of the inspiration for this is like, as you guys probably know by now, I'm a huge Marvel fan, and apparently the actor strike going on prevents the new Marvel's movie from being like promoted by the actors themselves. So there's some cats in it. They're called Flurkins for those who are in the know, and they decided to do like an 8 hour live stream of a cat cafe in LA yesterday. So I spent 8 hours watching cats playing around in like this little cat cafe yesterday, and it was a lot of fun. I mean, I didn't watch it directly. I kind of had it on in the background while I was doing other stuff. But anyway, that was enough to inspire me to draw a cat tonight. So that's the backstory there. Hopefully, you guys like cats as much as I do. They're so cute. They're so much fun. Um, but even if you don't like cats, hopefully you'll like this picture I make. How's that? But yeah, it's like cats are a big thing at Halloween anyway. So like, I'm sure you guys got to see some cats out there. Usually black cats. This one's going to be kind of white. Um, well, it's in black and white. Like there's probably a couple of colors going on in this cat, but I'm just drawing in black and white. The stick with pig. Yeah, I love this little guy. I don't know, like I forget what I call him. Like sometimes I call him Woody, sometimes I just call him Stickman. Um, I give him a bunch of different names. I'm gonna call him Stickman tonight. So yeah, I love Stickman. He's my co-pilot. I've had him for like years. I don't even know where I got him. I think my dad gave him to me. Like he had picked him up at a Goodwill or something like that. And I think he gave it to me just to like inspire me to draw, but like I wasn't doing that much drawing. But now that I am, it's nice to have somebody who's just gonna sit there and watch me draw. This guy's here in case nobody shows up. Like I can't like usually you guys are really good. Like you guys show up pretty regularly. Like a lot of you guys, pretty much every time I do a stream. But I can't bank on that, so I need somebody to talk to. So that's what Stickman's all about. If you guys weren't here, I'd be talking to Stickman. I love Stickman. Everybody needs a Stickman in their life. Just a little inanimate object to talk to. Between Stickman and my dogs, I have all these like conversations that are basically with myself. But I think that helps, like let's say you're like problem solving, you're trying to figure out a problem. It helps to just like articulate what the problem is. Like even if the person listening can't respond or whatever, just kind of throw it out there like, I don't know. How am I going to, my car's broke down, how am I going to get to the store or something like that? And just saying it out loud, it helps you to kind of solve those problems. Right, kid? Yeah, they were acting weird. So I don't know if that was like a fly or something in the corner, but they were drawn to that corner for some reason. It was weird. Oh, and that little I guess I should have done an update like on their comment section, but oh, for those who don't know, we did like a little bit of a ghost thing where we were like trying to contact ghosts and stuff on like another channel. And I have a little ghost detector thing that I had put over here in the corner while we were doing that. And it didn't go off during the thing, but this morning it did. Like I don't know what's supposed to set those things off. I think it's like electromagnetic frequencies or whatever. But I had it in my living room, and it's pretty far away from my Wi-Fi. My phone wasn't near it. The cat wasn't near it, and I heard it go off. And I'm upstairs, so I ran downstairs just to see if anything was around, and there was nothing around. So like I didn't get any kind of like feedback on that last night, but today it seemed pretty active. And I don't know. I'm a pretty skeptical guy, so I can't say it's ghosts or anything like that, but there wasn't anything that I could figure out that would have set it off. Like there's no like radio frequencies or anything around. The only thing running through my house that you probably can't see would probably be the Wi-Fi, but I don't know. We use the Wi-Fi throughout the day and it didn't go off at those other times, so I really don't know. It's pretty cool though. I like that kind of stuff. It's fun. Whether it's actual ghosts or it's just yourself spooking yourself, I love it. But yeah, last night, so for those of you who aren't subscribers to the other channel I was hanging out on, I was like talking to a real psychic who can communicate with spirits, and while doing so, my dog went over to this corner, and my cat too went over to this corner and was just like staring at the wall. It was so weird, so weird. But I love that kind of stuff. It's so much fun. Yeah, Robert, that yeah, like like I said, like just articulating things to another human being or an animal if you don't have a human being around, that kind of stuff helps. So I recommend it for just as a general problem solving technique. So as you guys can see here, I'm kind of starting off with like some light lines here. Obviously, I'm working on kind of like an anchor point, which would be the kitty's eyes. Um, this cat has really cute eyes, so I wanted to kind of focus on that, and then just kind of go from there and build out. Like a lot of times, I make a big old mess and then try to figure out where things are. This one, I'm creating an anchor point, and it's kind of the same technique from there. You take that anchor point and you start building other features off of it in proportion to that anchor point. So like a lot of times people tell you to like draw like an oval to represent his like face or his head, and then kind of figure out where the eye is from there and where the nose is and stuff. I've got all that mapped out mentally. um but as far as just like drawing it, like some other people do this as well, so you might have seen it if you watch other people draw, but they just kind of draw something just to anchor them on the page and then kind of build out from there. Either way works, whatever works best for you. I like this technique just because I don't know, it's kind of cool to watch it develop. You have to wrestle with. Yeah, I know the feeling. These dogs don't give me any room on the bed. So through here, there's going to be like a lot more white. It's got like this white kind of area underneath its eyes. Hey, Trustin, how's it going? We're drawing a kitty cat today. It's gonna be a pretty kitty cat. Yeah, I kind of mentioned in the intro, I watched 8 hours of cats playing in a cat cafe yesterday. I think that's brilliant marketing. That Marvel's movie that like I don't know, unless you're like a real huge fan of the Marvel movies like I am, you probably haven't. I don't know, maybe you've seen a commercial for it or something like that. I think those are out there now, but it's been kind of quiet just because like like there's not there's no actor coverage or anything like that. Marvel's having some difficulties these days, kind of trying to figure out what all they want to do and things like that. So this movie might actually flop, but I think it'll be fun. I'm gonna go see the movie anyway. And they have these creatures in it called flurkins, which are basically no, I'm not drawing the eye of Ra. I'm drawing the eye of Kitty, Kitty Ra. We can call the cat Ra, but no, this is a kitty cat eye. Oh, if I sound like I'm under the weather, it's because I did get a flu shot today, and that gives you like flu symptoms. I got my alien DNA shot today. That's what I like to say. I got the COVID booster at the same time, so I'm like flowing with alien DNA today. YouTube might block me for calling it alien DNA, but I don't care. But yeah, I practically have a cold, even though I wouldn't have a cold otherwise. Yeah, a lot of people like have different opinions about those like vaccines, like flu shots and COVID shots and stuff like that. I just get them just because like I don't know. I figure I'll probably still get a cold or flu sometime this year anyway. I always do, even though I get the shots, but you don't know how many times you didn't get the flu because you got the shot. You know, it's one of those things. As long as I don't have to pay for it, I'll get them. I think this kitty's gonna look cool when it's done. The cornfield has been cut. Oh, you have a cornfield? Have you ever been tempted to make crop circles in that cornfield? Every time I see a cornfield, I realize that if it was my cornfield, I would definitely be tempted to go out there and make crop circles because I like art, right? Could you imagine drawing a kitty in a big old cornfield? That would be awesome. Like you could only see the kitty from the sky. That would look very, very cool. All right. So from this eye, I'm going to try to kind of come down and try to figure out where the nose might be. Just kind of guessing as far as like the distance. So I think from here down through here would probably be a good spot. Now I want to keep this kind of light because like I may adjust the nose or something like that. So at this point, I'm kind of sketching in these features. And then as I feel more confident in where they're at, oh, you don't have a cornfield neighbors. Okay, gotcha. I mean, I would totally be doing crop circles. I was living in Ohio, and there's this place in Ohio called Serpent Mound. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it. If not, you can Google it. But it's it's an old Indian effigy mound that's shaped like a serpent, and you know, it's pretty spooky in its own right. Like not spooky, but it's like mysterious. Like why did they make this Indian mound in the shape of a serpent when you can really only see it from the sky? And so they got that out there in Ohio. I want to say it's in Adams County, but I'm not sure. But it's out there in the boonies, and there's a cornfield nearby. And one year, mysteriously, wasn't me. The crop circle showed up in that field, and it was pretty interesting. I got to go out and see it before you know, like the farmer came out and got rid of it so that people would stop bothering them about it. But it was pretty cool. Like it's really interesting to me because like I'm pretty sure um I'm pretty sure it was fake. Like some teenager or something went out there in that cornfield and made that crop circle. But it is kind of weird how it's done because there's not really a trace of like, you know, footprints and things like that around. So it makes you wonder how they pulled it off. I'm sure there's like an easy way to do it or something like that, but that's part of the mystery, I guess. Or it could be aliens. Who knows? That DNA that's in my flu shot is gonna it makes me say it's an alien. I'm feeling like it's aliens today. I'm all about the aliens. You guys want to talk about aliens tonight? We can talk about aliens. I feel like those are my people. I'm simpatico with the aliens tonight. Yeah, so like anyway, so we got one eye here, another eye built off of it, kind of got a bit of a nose going. I think this is turning out pretty good. And again, you know, like there's other methods for making it look right, getting all your proportions correct. I'm just kind of eyeballing it, but by basing it off of features that I've already drawn and keeping the picture really light until I feel comfortable committing to it, it works, you know, or at least it works for me. Different people draw in different ways and stuff like that. I want you guys to draw any way that feels comfortable to you. But if you're wanting to practice something different, you know, try this. It's fun. If anything else, it looks really cool in a time lapse where a picture just kind of materializes. That's what I like about it. Like if you start with like all those kind of like baselines and stuff, like I think it's called the Loomis method. If you do that, it's cool and everything, but it's not going to look as cool like in a time lapse. So I joke sometimes, but not really. That part of what I do is as much performance as it is, yeah, the drawing bit. Like I'm performing an art piece here. Um, so, any kind of step you can do in that direction just helps the performance of it. That's the way I look at it. I can already tell this is going to be a cute kitty. Get a little bit of a ring going. It's not as pronounced as this one, but there's a little bit of a ring here in the eye. Yeah, I got my alien green card and that vaccination that I got today. I hate these things though. Like they usually lay me out for a day. So the problem is I go to get my vaccine. Um, and I feel fine, right? I got it this morning and I feel fine throughout the day. Like maybe a little sore in the arm or something like that. And it's not a big deal though. Like I can go to work, I can be productive, I can do things. And then about this time at night, I start getting these headaches and I start feeling worn down and stuff like that. And I just want to go to sleep. That's what sucks about it. It doesn't hit me until the evening, but that's the way of it, you know. I don't even know if these things work. I just get them every year just because, like, I don't know. Feel like feel like I'm supposed to. I'm just a sheep. Give me that alien DNA, and maybe when the aliens come, they'll like skip by me. Oh, hey, Rome, how's it going? Gingers. Hey, now there's a couple of gingers who watch the show, though. You might want to be careful there. They'll gang up on you. I think so. I converted this my reference photo that I'm working off of here. I converted it to black and white to make it easier to see the different tones and stuff. But I think this was actually a ginger kitty. Speaking of the Marvels movie, that's the kind of cat that Captain Marvel has. Is like this beautiful Morris looking cat. She calls it Goose, which is kind of like a reference to Top Gun's Maverick and Goose. But in the comics, it's actually called Chewie, like for Chewbacca, which I think would have been cool to just stick with that, but they didn't want to create any kind of confusion. So, I mean, they're gonna make some changes for the movie. That's the way it goes. Hey, Mama Q, how's it going? We're doing a palette cleanser tonight. With all those scary pictures that we've been doing, we're kind of going cute and doing a kitty cat instead. So I think it's going to look good. Hopefully your week is going great. So I kind of want this ear. I'm not sure about the height of the ear yet, so I'm going to kind of leave that a little bit loose and then come back here and think about this nose a little bit more again. So again, just keeping things light for now. I'll come back and darken up some of these lines and stuff as I feel more comfortable with all the placement of things. It's kind of just scribble art at this point. You're kind of scribbling in these shapes, and then it's a lot like that messy pictures that I make with the charcoal and the pastel and stuff. Except that the lines are a little bit lighter because it's a more fine pointed pencil. In the wood, what is right? Did everybody have a fun Halloween? I know a lot of people contacted me and said, "Oh, I'm sorry I missed your show and stuff like that. I was busy for Halloween." So I assume you guys were all out, either trick or treating or at parties or things like that. I love Halloween. I can't wait until Halloween comes back. This Halloween kind of like was okay, but it rained a lot. So here, so didn't get to do a lot of the outdoors things that I wanted to do. Like they have like a parade and things like that. I totally missed all that. Oh, they had this cool pumpkin carving thing. Like, I don't know if I mentioned that or not. Um, I don't know if it was for charity or what, but they got a bunch of people to carve a bunch of pumpkins and put them on display. And there was like 500 pumpkins out there. It was crazy. Can you talk about World War III? I mean, if you want to talk about World War III, I don't know if I have anything to add to it. I try to put my head in the sand and avoid like sad things like that. Seems like the world is on fire right now. So you won't get me participating in that much, but I mean, you can feel free to talk about whatever, as long as you keep it family friendly. My week is finishing strong, going to your daughter's concert tonight. Oh, that's great. And you were sick earlier, so hopefully you feel better. It seems like you are feeling better, so cool. Yeah, I like this kitty's face so far. Um, what kind of concert is it? Like a singing concert, or does she play like an instrument, or something like that? If so, like what kind of instrument? I love music. Please tell me it's a rock band concert, like that she's a big old metalhead. That would be awesome. Get some fur going over here above the eye. Again, this is going to be really light because there's like some light, or by light I mean like not heavy pressure on the pencil, not actually light as in light. Um, this is going to be not very much pressure just because there's a big patch of fur through here that is kind of like darker, and then it kind of comes into these eyebrows, which are much actually lighter, whiter, I should say. Yeah. So as far as like musical instruments go, the irony is that my New Year's resolution, which kicked off this whole art thing that I'm doing, was actually just to be more creative. And to that end, I actually asked for like violin lessons um, for Christmas last year, and that was going to be my thing this year. I was going to learn to play the violin, and I was going to get good at it, and then maybe at the end of the year, do my own little like makeshift concert. But yeah, it's like that violin's just sitting there untouched. I did like one of the lessons. I learned how to hold the violin, and that's about it. Maybe I'll take that back up, like as the holidays come up and I have some like free time and downtime and stuff like that. But right now, I still don't know how to play the violin. Like it sounds terrible. Like I pull the bow across the strings and stuff, and it just sounds like a dying goat. That's what it sounds like to me. It sounds terrible. And I even bought like a little tuner for it. I thought that yeah, I thought that maybe the problem is I just didn't know how to tune it. So I got this little tuner thing for it, and that did not help. Still sounds terrible. So maybe I'll pick that up again. Maybe that'll be my thing for next year is I'll actually learn to play the violin properly. All right, so speaking of shapes, I think will this comes down. I think this needs to actually come up, extend this out. And this is the kind of adjustments you can make in real time. Like as long as you keep your stuff kind of loose and light, you can make these adjustments. So I want to make his forehead a little bit. I'm going to call it her. I want her forehead to be a little bit higher. Oh, choir concert. Oh, that's cool. Like proper singer there. That's nice. Well, hopefully it will go well for her. I'm sure it will. And best of luck. So I want to extend that up because I want this to kind of come down. That's something I definitely cannot do. I do not have a singing voice. I have a nasally kind of gross voice. I could try to sing, but that would also probably sound like a dying goat. So you got this little fur line going through here. This will probably extend up into the ear, but with these two things, I feel comfortable kind of extending this ear out so that it's a little bit taller. And these lines back this way. I mean, at this point, I'm basically sketching, but I think the more it develops, I'll turn it into a proper drawing. But this is kind of fun. I haven't done one of these in quite some time. I've been doing like a lot of like all at once type pictures, which is also fun. Um, like with my paintings and my pastel drawings and stuff. Those things kind of develop all over the place at one time versus this where it's like, you're kind of like piecing it out a little bit at a time. So it's nice to come back to this. These type of pictures I think are like more technical drawings. Sorry, I keep burping up pizza. I've been trying to watch what I eat lately, but I can't help but eat those pizzas. They're so good. Pizzas and tacos. All right, so over this, there's going to be some whiter furs. I don't know if that's the proper word, just call them furs. Let's see, what does Trusted Living say? The country of Turkey has Pakistan nukes on their side. Turkey is part of NATO, and if NATO goes to war against Israel, NATO agree. Yeah, it's a mess. It is a mess, and it is all over the news. It would be so weird. Oh, thank you, Mama Q. I appreciate it. It would be so awesome, I think, for like I was just thinking about this that while reading your comment, Trusted, like there's not been a year go by that I can recall, like I doubt it ever happened, where there was just no bad news. Wouldn't that be great? Like if just 1 year goes by with no bad news. Just seems like there's way too much bad news. It doesn't seem like too much to ask. I know it's kind of childish and stuff to think this way, but I don't care. I'm a big kid. Um, is it too much to ask just for like a break from the bad news? Just take a couple of months off, it'll do you wonders. Just take a year off from creating bad news. Let's just have some good news for 1 year and just see how it goes. If you don't like it, you can go back to your bad news later. You can you can set the world on fire again. You just like let the fire burn out for a little bit. Give us a break. I think that sounds good. Is that why there are grid? Oh, there are grid lines on here. Sorry. No, that's a. I didn't even notice that. That's actually that would be helpful. No, that's just a filter on this Cam Studio thing that I use. Let me see if I can find it. So like this. Oh, that's gonna mess up my video later too. It's gonna have all these grid lines on it. So let me pull that up. So I have this kind of software that lets my camera on my phone interact with my computer. I'm not actually using these grids. I didn't even notice that they were there. Like I completely tuned them out. But it's got like these little templates. Like if I wanted to put my name on it or something, I could have this like stupid little frame and stuff. And that, or like if I wanted like little shadowed sides and stuff. That grid thing is just like one of the filters. So I guess that's it. I'm trying to find the one that has no filter. Yeah, see, that's got like a little. Oh, here we go. There you go. That's what it's supposed to be. Sorry about that. Yeah, like I wasn't using those guidelines at all, but actually, those would be helpful. Yeah, good eye. I didn't even notice those were up there. It'd be weird if there was like a target or something on it. Yeah, that's gonna mess up my video, I think, because I think it would probably record that. Oh, that sucks. Oh well, it is what it is. I'm supposed to know how this technology works and stuff. I actually work on computers and stuff, so like you'd think I would notice those things, but I don't. Any opinion on the Maui fires? I hadn't heard about that. So there's like, is that like forest fires and stuff? Obviously, my opinion on all fires is they're bad. They suck. Appreciate you catching those grid lines. Those weren't supposed to be there. Now, if you wanted to, and I don't think that's cheating at all, like doing a grid system like that, that is actually helpful to get you doing proportions right. You can you can take your reference picture and grid it out and then lay a grid over your paper, like either draw it or something like that. That is a very common way of making sure all your stuff is correct because, like, say you did have a grid across this, between certain lines, you can just draw what's between those lines and make those lines match up and stuff. It's a great way to make sure that all of your sizes are correct. But no, I'm just freehanding it here. Even though probably I should do things like that. It'll probably make my work better. Oh, that sucks. That is coming up this week, isn't it? Oh, I hate that. Because, like, it just takes away your daytime. Like, I don't get like serious seasonal depression or whatever like that, but it is kind of like when it's always dark, it is easy to kind of just be sad all the time. I hate that. And like, it's 5 o'clock in the evening and it's already dark. That sucks. Why they gotta do that? Oh, a whole historic town was wiped out. Oh, is that? I think I did see something about that in the news. The trees in certain buildings survived. That's interesting. Yeah, back to the grid thing, like that would be actually helpful. Like, I'm glad that you guys are like, oh, well, Jeremy's just using that to help him draw. I could have done that. That would have been great. But no, if I were doing that, I would probably draw the grid out on the paper. That is probably something I should do just as kind of like a demo of how that works for like, new drawers and stuff who are looking for ways to improve. I've done that in the past, like like when I was a kid and stuff like that. I took like one art class or something in high school for like, I don't know, like a semester or something like that. And they had like little tips like that. I mean, it wasn't like art school or anything proper, but everybody has like electives they have to do because either that or home economics or something else. Right. Happy late. Yeah. I don't know. It's just like when it's dark, I just want to go to sleep. Just want to sleep it out. It doesn't help with the productivity, that's for sure. Like I'm not like a productivity nut or anything like that. But there are, everybody's got things that they've got to accomplish and you got to be in the mood to do it. So, but then again, maybe I'll be more productive now that I think about it. Because like during the summertime, it's not like I'm productive either. I want to go out and have a good time out in the world. Like if it's 9 o'clock at night and the sun's still shining and stuff, I might want to go for a walk or something. So I don't know. Maybe I'll be more productive just because there ain't nothing going on. I like summer and spring and stuff like that. I don't like when the times change. But at least this wait, in fall it falls back, so you get an extra hour of sleep. That's good. There's a plus. Yeah, maybe it's not all bad. There you go. Put a positive spin on it. There you go. It's not all that bad because you get an extra hour of sleep until your body adjusts to it, and then it like doesn't matter. Or maybe it's in spring that you get the extra hour of sleep. It seems like a math problem. Let's see if it falls back. All right, so like it's 8:35 here on the East Coast. If it falls back, it would be. Would that mean it would be 7:35? Yeah. It'd be like 7:35, wouldn't it? You lose an hour. You lose an hour of sleep. This sucks. This all sucks, right? And fall, you lose the hour of sleep. Man, there's nothing good about this at all. That blows. Who came up with that dumb idea? What was it from Benjamin Franklin? That guy was supposed to be smart. What's he doing coming up with this crap? There's nothing good about the time change. Fall back, spring ahead. Yep, yep. I was wrong. That sucks. Oh well. Yeah, you make do with what you got. At least we're alive, guys, right? We're alive. That's the good news. The world's on fire. They're changing all the time zones and stuff like that. We're gonna lose some sleep, but we're alive. That's what matters. There's a silver lining here somewhere. All right, so I think that's looking good. I gotta figure out the mouth down here, but I think I'm going to kind of like figure out this area here and kind of work from there. So this area, I'm gonna have my lines go this way. They should get rid of daylight savings. That's the takeaway. It's dumb, it's confusing. I don't know if I'm losing sleep, gaining sleep. It's causing me stress. It just sucks. This kind of comes down almost like an arrow, like a triangle almost. Kitties are so cute. I love kitties. Do you guys all have cats? I know you have cats, Lori. Anybody else in the chat have kitty cats? It's hard to tell. Like, I'm a dog person, so like I probably spend more time with my dogs, hang out with my dogs more and stuff. But I love my cat. I've got one cat. Cat's over here sleeping with the dogs right now. But I love my cat. It's so cute. It does cute things. It likes to play with toys. Yeah, that's what's dumb about it. Every time they do the time change, they have like two, three articles about it, and then everybody forgets about it until next time. All right, so probably, oh, this would be much further back. Yeah, I think I had it right here. So back here, I think that's about right. Yeah, you would have a bunch of lines coming up like this, kind of forming the edge of this ear. I wish I had cool ears like cats. I wish humans had cat ears. They'd be easier to draw. Like I hate drawing human ears. The natty lights, enjoy the fall colors. Oh, you do gain an hour of sleep. All right, cool. Thank you, Larry. Thanks for doing that math for me because I suck at that. All right, so there's a lot of good things about it. I thought it was the end of the world coming up this weekend. No, you get an extra hour of sleep. That's great. You get, fall in general is great. Like, you get all the fall colors. Like the leaves are it's still turning. They're very beautiful here right now. I'm not a big like lawn raker or anything like that. I just go out and mow the lawn and it kind of eats up the leaves and stuff like that. But you've got all the beautiful leaves everywhere. You've got things like pumpkins and like Thanksgiving coming up. Yeah, Thanksgiving's like right around the corner. That's cool. All right, I'm back in a good mood now. I was a little bummed out over that time change thing. Thanks, Larry. You helped me out of it. Hooray for the time change. We get an extra hour of sleep. I guess if I wanted an extra hour of sleep though, I could just go to bed earlier. See, I talk myself out of being happy. Do you guys hear me? So I'm sitting here like, oh yeah, this is great. I get an extra hour of sleep. But then it dawns on me like, well, if I wanted an extra hour of sleep, I could just go to bed earlier. Now I'm back to like, ah, this sucks. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, you probably don't want. Yeah. So, um, It makes sense that they wouldn't want kids walking in the dark. It makes sense that like, you know, I think it's tied to farmers and stuff too, like, crops and all that stuff. Get some little specks of white over here. There's like all this like little random fur. Kind of looks like an old man's beard, just kind of sticking out. And the cats have like some severe ear hair problems. See, this is why I like talking to you guys. You guys know stuff. You guys are like teaching me things. I appreciate that. Like I could go and Google all this stuff, but you guys just like know it off the top of your head. That's my problem. I've become too dependent on Googling things, so like I don't just know things off the top of my head, like little bits of trivia and stuff like that. I can find information quickly, but it's I don't I don't clog my brain up with these things. All right, so that's looking good. I've got like a little bit of extension. I think I can extend this out a little bit, really get that going nice and bright. The harder you press with these, the brighter it becomes because they're like all this pigment in these pencils. And for those of you who don't use these colored pencils, and they come in like a lot of variety, but these Prismacolor pencils, they're kind of wax based. So what you've got is, hold on a second. For some reason my computer wants to do an update while I'm sitting here doing a broadcast. I need to turn that stuff off. Um, you have all this pigment and basically wax. So you're like wiping wax all over your paper essentially whenever you're using these colored pencils. And it looks cool. I really like this. Turn that off. There you go. I really like this white on the black paper. I've done a couple of pictures like this and I'm always happy with them. Well, not always. Like some of them don't look great. Like I did an eagle for like July 4th. I wasn't too happy with that. You guys seem to like it, but I wasn't very happy with it. But I like this. This looks good. Yeah, Google Heads. There you go. So this particular kitty has like this really white streak that kind of comes out from the eye. It's really super cute. Kind of extends back into kind of the base of the ear. And then the ear kind of extends out past this way. Like I don't want to give the impression that it has like a hard edge here. It really doesn't. It just kind of fades out into the shadows. So I need to get some features back here to kind of give that impression. How are we doing on time? Okay, I've been talking so much, I lost track of time. Yeah, I don't know if you guys noticed or not, but I'm not drinking my bourbon tonight. That's what sucks about getting this alien DNA shots. Like they tell you you're not supposed to drink. I normally do anyway, but I figured tonight I would just because it's giving me headaches and things like that anyway. You really shouldn't be drinking while you're taking medication. But that whole alien cloning strategy of theirs is interfering with my normal Friday night. People who don't know me probably would come in here and listen to me and just be like, "This guy's a raving lunatic." You guys don't know if aliens exist or not. They probably do. Actually, that is truthful. Like I was saying that as a joke, but that is probably true. There probably are aliens out there. The real question is like, have they visited us? There's certainly aliens out there. Well, not certainly, but statistically, it's more likely that there is some form of life out there in the universe. The only real debate is whether or not, they're advanced enough to do space travel and whether or not they've actually come here and things like that. But I don't think there's any serious debate on whether or not aliens, just as kind of like a broad concept, um, whether or not aliens exist. Health-wise, daylight savings isn't good for us. Thank you. I agree. All it does is mess people up. Um, I don't have a very consistent sleep schedule anyway, but everybody should. as a programmer and stuff, especially like a freelance programmer, um, where I make my own hours. There's a lot of times when I'm like on like a deadline or something, and rather than getting a good night's sleep and coming back to it, I just press through and I literally stay up all night. And that is not good. That's not healthy. It's not something I would recommend to others. I'm working on that. I'm trying to get better at time management, but I'm not there yet. But none of that's healthy. And I agree with you, Mama Q. That is not good for us health wise. They should just abolish it, do away with it. And what sucks about it, it's not optional. Like, it's not like you can optionally choose which time zone you want to be in or like what time, everybody has to do it. So, like, next Monday, this exact same time would be 7:46 on the East Coast, and I don't have a choice over that. It's just the way it's going to be. It's not like I can be like, well, I'm a health conscious person, so I'm just going to skip opting into that. Now you still got to be at work at a certain time. You still have to make your appointments. It sucks. It's not like, all right, so like, most people have kind of like a set schedule on when they eat. So like they have breakfast at a certain time, they have lunch at a certain time. They have their morning meetings with their boss at a certain time. None of those things change. None of those adjust. So, like, say your morning meeting is usually at 9 o'clock. It's not like they move it to 10 or something just because the time changed. It's not like they let you come into work later just because the time changed. It's not good. It's just bad. It's all bad. We should do something about it, guys. Let's write some emails. How do you get something like that changed? Because you guys are right. They do talk about that every year, and then nothing ever happens. Like everybody seems to genuinely agree it's just not good. Seems like this is something we could do. Like this isn't even political. Like this is like, you know, you can be a Republican, you can be a Democrat, you can be an alien. It doesn't matter. Everybody generally agrees that the time thing is bad. It seems like we can fix this. Like everybody should just come together and just say, look, this is dumb. This is dumb, guys. Let's just fix this one little thing. And then, you can go back to being crazy. Just want this one little thing to change. That's not asking too much. I love it. See, we're solving some real problems here, guys. It's not just an art show. We're actually solving things, making the world a better place through art. You draw pictures, you start thinking about things while you're drawing pictures, and you solve the world's problems. I like it. All right, there's gonna be like some fur and whiskers coming off here. I'm not gonna draw them now, but I do kind of want to get some of them in just so that I remind myself that these things are here. Like most things, as you're drawing, you might forget that there, or you might not even notice that there's like grid lines on your thing and stuff. It's all about observation. So, if you're going to come back to something, kind of put like a placeholder or something so that you remember that it's there. So I'm going to put these like little hairs coming out of the ears just so that I remember to kind of like work with it. Actually, I might just finish these off just so that I don't have to worry about remembering. There's not a ton of it. It's just random hairs coming out, just kind of randomly. Random hairs coming out randomly. And then there's kind of like almost a triangle of her through here with like a bit of a gap between these two. And you notice how I'm talking about this. Like I'm looking at it as shapes. Like I see that there's a curve that represents the kitty's head, and then there's like a little triangle of fur coming off. It's all a bunch of shapes combined together. Right. And I think that looks pretty good. All right, so I want to just going to kind of sketch out what I think should be the shape here. I think I want this to kind of come more like out like this. So we're giving Kitty a tiny little nose job here, just so that I can get a bigger mouth area. And then there's another little mouth piece that comes through here. It's such a cute kitty, guys. You have to rely on looking at it through my art, but um, the reference picture, it's a super cute kitty. If you guys are interested, this cat came off of Unsplash, which is a great resource for finding things to draw. It's just a place where people upload photos. Like they're not trying to make money off of it or anything like that. They're not. Well, some of them are professional photographers and they're just trying to get their name out there, I guess, and kind of demo some of their work. But they don't charge for it, and they give you like a very broad license to basically do whatever you want with the picture. So I like to go there for like a lot of my reference pictures when I'm just looking for something to draw. Again, today I just wanted to draw something cute. And I literally typed in cute as a keyword and this little cat popped up. And I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. Because I watched 8 hours of cat videos yesterday. Hmm. Oh, that's looking cool. Is there state or two and reservations that don't honor daylight saving? Yeah, like Hawaii and I think Arizona. Like Ben and Ashley, they don't deal with that shit. It was fun hanging out on Ashley's stream yesterday. Like I say we should do that every year, but I almost forgot to do it this year. I don't remember if she brought it up or I did, but it is a good tradition, to like reach out. So the other thing about like Halloween, and I know there's probably other holidays for this, like, there is Veterans Day coming up, there's Memorial Day, things like that, where you're supposed to honor, people who have passed away. I kind of do that on Halloween as well. So I look at Halloween as just people who have passed on, you know. So part of that is just like, the supernatural world, whether there is a supernatural world or not, it's just having a good time with it, kind of like, you know, just buying into it at least for the holiday, right? And then but also in a real sense, people pass away and stuff like that. I also take it as a time to honor them. Like I do think about it as like, in folklore, Halloween is the time when the veil between the world of the living and the world of the dead is at its thinnest. So whether that is actually true or not, I look at it as metaphorically true, and I take the time to kind of honor people who have passed away anyway, if that makes sense. Because, whether it's actually the time to do it or not, I take the opportunity just out of tradition or something like that. So that's just how I roll. I think it's a good policy. Oh, what was the name? Sorry, Unsplash. UNSPLASH.com. And it's just a bunch of like almost like stock photography. It's a great resource. So like if you're just looking for photos and stuff like that. If you're looking for photos and you want to do right as far as like attribution, right? So like I mean you can do a Google search and find something to draw and you can probably get away with drawing it and stuff like that. And I'm not saying that I don't do that sometimes. Um, but I also like try to be respectful of other creators. And like if you're looking to draw something where you don't have to worry about it, they have um, a very inclusive, like I don't even want to call it a copyright because I don't think it's. I guess it is a copyright, but it's a very like open copyright. I don't know the term for it. Like you don't even have to attribute like the picture to the photographer if you don't want to, which is good because I don't remember their name. If this cat looks like your cat, thank you. How's that for attribution? I should probably look it up. I want to get better at that. There you go. I want to be the type of person who does look things like that up. That's the way I always try to improve my life. I always start with a statement like, I want to be the type of person who does whatever it is. And then by doing that, I kind of start focusing on being that kind of person. Like, I acknowledge that I'm a flawed human being, but I want to be better. I think that's a good way to go about it. Oh, you're most welcome. Yeah, like I've linked to it in some past videos that I did. I think I'll do that this time as well. Kind of just throw it into the description box, just so that like because it is a great resource. I really do like it. Looks pretty good. Yeah, I forget. A lot of the people who actually watch the show are people who draw themselves and stuff and are looking for things like that. I wish they had that for music. Like, I would like to play better music in my videos. But the only thing I see is like subscription services, which I'm not like against or anything like that. I will probably end up doing that, but it's like I don't know, like $15 per month, and I don't know if I'd be using a lot of it. It's not like it'd be like Spotify where I'd be listening to it just to listen to it. It would strictly be to provide music on my videos. YouTube has a library of songs, but they're all like generic elevator music songs. Not all of it, but most of it. It's not great. It's not like I need, like I'm asking for too much. Like I like classical music. Classical music goes great in the as like a background to an video or drawing or something like that. But I'd like a little bit of variety. I listen to classical music to relax, but I also like to listen to a whole range of other music. Hey Hillary, how's it going? Yeah, it's a kitty cat. I'm glad that you saw that it was a kitty cat because like if it doesn't look like a kitty cat by now, I'm in some serious trouble. Or as we call it in the Marvel world, a flurkin. A few of you guys out there, you know what I'm talking about. Everybody else is scratching their head like, what's a flurkin? There's a character in the Marvel comics named Captain Marvel, and she has a cat, but it's not really a cat; it's an alien, and it's called a flurkin. And the thing about flurkins is they look like ordinary domestic house cats, but they have special abilities. They can like I think they have like telekinesis, they can move things with their mind, things like that. But in the movie, the one thing that they really highlighted was that they can open their mouth and out comes like a bunch of tentacles and it grabs somebody and it sucks them into like a pocket universe and kind of traps them. So basically, flurkins are nothing you want to mess with. They're dangerous creatures. They look cute, but they are dangerous creatures. And of course, kitty cats are dangerous creatures anyway. Like I've got all kinds of scratches on me from playing with my cat. And my cat, I love my cat, and my cat loves me. No, cats don't love people. My cat tolerates me, so I don't think my cat hates me. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to get clawed up by my cat. So I think at the cheek ridge kind of comes from the edge of the nostril, kind of comes back here, a little bit more through here. And I know we've been working on this picture for a while and stuff, but like if you kind of scrub back, it is kind of neat how the picture kind of builds off of. We started with the eye and all of these different pieces. So like just here, this line here. So I looked at the reference photo and I noticed that that line comes up to the edge of the nostril here. So if this is a kitty nostril through here, that's where this edge of the kitty cheek, at least where it's highlighted from the light catching it. Like obviously there's more to the cat's mouth than just this bit, but the light kind of catches it on this ridge here, a fur, and that lines up with the nostril. And that's really all there is to it. Like there's no like we're not using a grid here. We're not measuring these things out with like a ruler or anything like that. We're just looking at something, and you probably will get better at this over time with practice and stuff. I know I certainly have gotten better at it, but it's really just eyeballing. So like if you measure this out with an actual ruler, you'll probably find I've made several mistakes here, but they're they're minor mistakes. Um, some of them might be bigger than others, but they're not mistakes that prevent it from capturing the likeness of the cat, if that makes sense. So even though it is probably not perfect on proportions, like you always hear artists talk about, getting proportions correct and stuff like that. It's a major thing because like some of us are kind of wired to guess eyeballing something better than others. But it is like a learned thing as well. So like you can get better at it just by practicing. But we're not like we're not just born with the ability to just magically guess how far it is from the eye to the ear. But with practice, you can get something that looks realistic and passable. And even though you're not sitting here with a ruler measuring it out, it's believable. And I think I mentioned before, but that's kind of the benchmark that I go for is like, is this a believable proportion of a cat? Harry Potter has measles that look like house cats. Oh, right. Yeah, that is a thing in the Harry Potter universe. But if you watched all the Avengers movies, the Flurkin is the one that ate the. I'm gonna sound like a big old nerd. The Flurkin is what ate the Tesseract and kind of coughed up the Tesseract on Fury's desk. There. You guys probably have no idea what I'm talking about. It was in the movies, guys. Come on. Everybody saw those movies. Everybody saw the Avengers movies at least. This was Captain Marvel, which it seemed like a lot of people watched. I think most people watched it though because it was kind of sandwiched in between Infinity War and Endgame. So it's like that was a big cultural thing that like everybody wanted to see what would happen with these characters. But then probably now people forget. All right, so this is going to be like kind of fluffed up a little bit out here at the base of the ear. Like I'm not happy with this yet. I feel like there's some spots that need to be lighter through here, but I'm going to come back to that. How are we doing on time? Oh, we're doing fine on time. I want to make sure that I get the whiskers in here. So there's basically this line a little bit through here. Flurkin does sound like a Swedish pastry. I don't know where they get these names. I just like saying Flurkin. I'll say Flurkin all night. They're kitty cats. But I thought it was a good promotion because, like I said, the actors are on strike, so it's not like what's her name? Brie Larson plays Captain Marvel, and I forget the other two actresses' names, but there's also going to be again showing my nerdness here. There's Captain Marvel. There's I think her name is Photon, and then there's Miss Marvel. All three of those are going to be in this movie, and I forget the other two's names and stuff. But anyway, um, they can't go out and promote the movie. Samuel L. Jackson can't go out and promote the movie. I don't know who else can't promote the movie, but they're struggling, right? So I thought it was brilliant that they did do that live stream from that cat cafe because there are Flurkins in the movie and stuff. I thought that was a great tie-in. Of course, the internet, are like, oh, this is a dumb promotion and stuff like that, but that's just the internet. The internet's not very nice. But I thought it was brilliant. I thought it was great. And I sat there and watched again for like not not the entire time, but I watched it off and on through 8 hours. And it's just so cute. Just watching a live stream of cats, there's no downside. It just makes you feel good. because they're just bundles of cuteness. They just sit there and do cute things, and they know it. They know they're being watched, and they put on a show, and it's great. Like they'll bat at the little toys and stuff like that. It's just adorable. I love kitties, and kittens especially. Like this one's starting to look like an older cat, but it was intended to be a kitten, but whatever. Let's see, I want kind of a whisker that kind of comes out. So this is going to be tough. This comes out pretty far up to the ear. I'll work on that one. And this one, maybe I should start back here. This is tough because you can't just like really like sketch it. You have to draw like a straight line. Well, it's curved, but you have to draw a consistent line. And then this one kind of comes down. And there's like a big one that kind of comes down like this, kind of connects there. Basically like that. And there's like a number of like other little ones. Man, this is like a porcupine. There's like so many whiskers. I think one would come up like this. There's like two here. And then there's like, I think maybe like two here. Sorry, obviously I'm thinking about whiskers here. All right, that's a good start. And then you can kind of thicken up the ends of it. So it's not all like one weight. But you got to be careful. You got to still keep it kind of thin. Because like these whiskers don't get very thick. Maybe just like going back over it with like a little bit more weight is probably great for this. And then like not all the way to the tip, but just like try to just trace your own line. I think that works for the whiskers. It's a good start at least. Maybe that top one there is a little bit too thick, but I can't really do anything about that now. All right, so I kind of want to behind her ear. This is going to be really soft because it's just like basically the boundary of the head, and it's like really out of focus. And then that would kind of come up to about lined up with this. It's so odd to narrate because like you feel like you're talking to yourself. All right, so that kind of comes around and then it kind of comes up into the ear about like that. And then there's like some fur that comes out off of it. Maybe this is too much here. Kind of soften that up. And then round about here, like a little puff that kind of comes off. Again, this is like not the main focus, but it needs to kind of be there just to hint at like body shape. I think that's important. Like you don't have to draw everything, but you do have to hint at important things. Like when you're looking at this, like where does the head actually begin and end? So just drawing like some subtle light back here, catching the edge of the fur. I think that does a good job of kind of like hinting at the general shape of this cat's head, and then kind of continue that up. And it's not even like clear whether I'm drawing fur here or whether I'm drawing something behind the cat. But I think that's good. I like just hinting at things. I think it makes for a nice dynamic composition to kind of like there's a word for this. Like there's like show and hide. So like hide and then show. It's a good combination. I don't know if that's the exact term, but it's something I heard somewhere where you kind of like hide something in the shadows and then you bring some object out to kind of like show. Osage County. Oh, Julia Roberts is great. Has she been in anything recently? Like, I'm not sure. I think she was in a movie with George Clooney like a year ago, but like I don't think it took off or anything like that. Like they always pair people up, like like Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks, Julia Roberts and George Clooney. Like they always pair these people because audiences want to see those pairings. All right, I think that looks kind of cool. So more highlight up here. I think that's fine for now. So same deal down here, round about just above the nose. Kitty's fur kind of starts coming back out into the body. So just kind of softly put in some fur back here. Now, if I was doing this in like pastel, this would all be like kind of like just smudged out and like super soft and blurry. But I'm not dealing with pastel, so I have to kind of like hatch in these areas. So underneath the mouth, there's like a little bit of shadow there. And then it becomes this white, kind of flows into the body. And then Kitty's got a bit of a, whatever dishes down here, kind of like a little waddle coming down. It kind of flows, flurs in, flirkins in to the base of his mouth. Right. So then all of this would be white to kind of show that shadow there, right? The contrast there. And then this kind of extends across. So I'll just kind of sketch this in a little bit. And I think my shape's right, but I can still adjust this. I think this is like the base of his mouth, her mouth. And you got some fur here. So this fur back here kind of comes up and around into the cheek. That's how you get your kitty head. And then now that I've got this basic guideline going, I'll kind of refine it a little bit. So I'm like, well, maybe this kind of comes up a little bit higher. Maybe I create more of an edge here, which I think I do. Bring that up. And then there's almost this really bright halo through here in terms of like tonal value. And then that kind of extends into at least these whiskers here, which I should really make brighter. Black Wall Street, where 300 black people were murdered. Dang. You've got all bad news there, Trusted. People murdered and stuff. They were murdered on Wall Street? Gaslit. I don't know, guys. I think it's starting to look like a kitty to me. All right, so this mane down here, it's really bright up next to this like shadow area. So I'm going to go ahead and reinforce that a bit. Again, the method is just kind of drawing things lightly. And then once you feel comfortable with where things are, then you come back and you kind of like press harder to really um, create that contrast and stuff. And also like varying it up a little bit. So like really heavy here, a little bit lighter there. Create some variety. So right underneath this nose, it would be super white. Super white for the white kitty. Maybe that's a bit much. Tone that down with a little bit of gray through there. keep burping a pizza. Sorry, guys. Tip: if you ever start a YouTube show, don't eat right before you go live. Probably not a good idea. Or if you do, don't eat something that. Oh, thanks, Larry. I appreciate that. If you do, don't eat something that's going to cause you to be burping. Oh, the other thing is like, very rarely do I drink beer on this show, and it's because every time I drink the beer, I start burping too. I drink beer probably more in life than I do on this show. I'm not above it though. Like I'll drink beer on this show. It's just I just know that I'm going to be burping if I do. This is a cute kitty. I appreciate you guys letting me know, but I can see it too. A bit shaggier than maybe I wanted to draw it, but I think it's cute. A little bit longer hair, I guess. Oh, Tulsa, Oklahoma. Okay, I think I heard that story. I never heard of it referred to as Black Wall Street, but that's just my own ignorance. I don't know everything I should know. I try to keep up with the stories. Try to I do like history. Um, but I'm kind of an ancient history kind of guy. Like I love Egyptian history. I should draw some Egyptian pictures. That would be weird. Like if I tried to draw like two-dimensional Egyptian pictures, because they're all flat, right? Like they didn't, for some reason, they didn't have like a major concept of three-dimensionality in their artwork. I should try to draw something in the style of Egyptian art. But anyway, I love Egyptian history. I love Roman history. Um, as an adult, I've been learning more about Japanese history. I would love to take a trip to Japan at some point. I think I would have a lot of trouble finding my way around Japan. I definitely wouldn't know what to eat. Somebody would have to, I would basically need a guide if I went to Japan. Because I went to an Asian market that had like, all the different types of food and stuff like that. And I was looking at the packaging and not even just the words, like I would have to have somebody translate the words to me, but just from the pictures, I couldn't figure out exactly what was in it. So I would definitely need a guide if I went to anywhere in Asia. But I would love to. Like I love I love like Buddhist temples. I love I love like you know like the cherry trees out there, things like that, the nature out there. And of course I love samurais. Samurais are great. Oh, have a good time, Larry. I appreciate you hanging out with us. I'm just saying bye to Larry, dog. It's not the end of the show. I think the dog goes off of my tone of voice to know whether or not like the show's over. Like if I'm talking in a monotone voice like this, the dog thinks, "Oh, he's still doing stuff." But if I get excited or something, they think the show's over. So again, like same with the other side, there's not like a lot of details or something going on over here. So I'm just kind of like hatching in some lines. And then I'll probably create some varying weights to those. I think that's probably enough. It's just a hint at a body coming off that's kind of lost in the shadows out here. But then as it gets closer to the face, I'm going to do some like basic cross hatching just to lighten up some areas. And then down through here, you actually have some tufts of fur. So I'll brighten that up. Again, I say this every time I draw an animal. You're not drawing every single, piece of fur. You're just again, I like the word hint because that's kind of how I feel about it. You're hinting at these different features. So like you're hinting that their skin is covered in fur. Like everybody knows that with a cat, but like say an alien came to the earth and they didn't ever see a cat before, they could figure out what a cat is from the drawing because they're hinting at these features. Put some extra whiskers in there. I like those whiskers. Let's see. So tufts of fur kind of continue around and create kind of like the secondary layer, almost a double chin. Sorry, kitty. Thanks, Hillary. I appreciate it. You guys are always so nice to me. Yeah, I kind of like this cat picture. I wish this was actually somebody I knew's cat because like I'd be proud to have them like hang it in their in, like living room or something like that on the wall. But unfortunately, this is a stranger cat. It's just a picture I found on the internet, which is odd. I haven't drawn my own cat. I really feel like I should. The thing is, you couldn't. I don't feel comfortable just drawing a cat. I would want to take a picture of the cat and kind of like work it so that it's in its best pose and stuff like that. Like a lot of times the cat's just like laying on the bed and it's not looking all that cute and things like that. I feel like you should spend some time actually like if you're going to take a reference photo of something, you know, like say you wanted to draw your significant other, you can have your significant other pose, but also make sure that they pose. Like I mean, for the best result. Like you can draw your significant other sitting on a couch if you want to and stuff like that if that captures your mood. But also like, you know, if they're going to sit for you, actually have them, you know, sit in almost set them up like they're doing a photo shoot. And then from that, take a couple of photos to use as a reference and have those in addition to your live subject. I mean, if your live subject wants to sit there while you draw a picture for 2 hours or more, that's great. Like because you're going to capture some stuff that you wouldn't be able to capture just from a mere photo. But if you are just working from a photo, take the time to actually set it up like a professional photo. You know, like have them actually pose, make sure that the lighting's good, things like that. And I haven't done any of that with my own cat yet. That's why I haven't drawn pictures of my own cat. Like I don't have any really good pictures of my cat. It's just whenever the cat's doing something cute or something, I'll video it or something. That's not a good photo to work from. I'm really big on lighting. Like I want the lighting to look right. I'm you know, lighting makes a great picture. Like in this one, the light is kind of coming off down and capturing the face. All of this is in shadow. It makes for a great drawing. All right, so there are some. Let's see how we doing on time. Oh yeah, we're only an hour, and it's Friday, so I can take my time. So there's also some fur through here. It's a little bit. I say it's a little bit lighter, but what I really mean is it's a little bit darker. Everything's in reverse on black paper, which is why I enjoy doing it so much. I think they make for very striking drawings. So I'll get that fur going through here to kind of like emphasize the edge of the face. I think I think we're getting pretty close to like actually figuring out where all the cat is. That's always like something to be nervous about. Like, did I give myself enough room for the ears, for example? Did I give myself enough room over here on the side to round out the face? Um, the more your picture becomes developed, uh, the uh, the more confident you feel. And it's so weird because like artists are always like some of the least confident people that you might meet. They're like, "Oh, my artwork sucks," and like I'm not very confident and all But the truth of it is that part of the process is building confidence. So like the more that you work with the picture and the more the picture develops, the more confident you are that everything's placed correctly and stuff. Like it's only when you wake up the next morning and you look at your picture and you just like think, oh, this looks terrible and stuff like that. But during the process, like you guys will hear me all the time say, oh, I like how this is turning out and stuff like that. And that's true. But then the next morning, I just hate all my work, which is also true. By the next day, I reevaluate everything. The other problem is I'm sitting here and I'm looking at a picture that is like on a flat surface. So I've already got this weird perspective. So like if I was sitting where the camera is, which is up here, I would have a better perspective. So like while I'm drawing, I'm looking at my picture itself. I'm looking at my reference photo, but then I'm also looking at the screen, which is where the chat is, and I also have like the picture on the screen itself, so I can kind of have those different viewpoints, so that I'm not locked into drawing something at an angle, which is what it would be. Like a lot of times when people paint or even draw sometimes on a like a oh shit, what's the word? An easel. Sorry. When people are drawing on an easel, they make sure it's like right at eye level and eye height and stuff like that, so that you don't get that perspective problem. And like it's not that big of a deal. It only makes your work a little bit harder than it could be otherwise. But certainly, I've seen some pictures that I've done where like the perspective is a little bit off, like the proportions are a little bit off, and then maybe the picture looks a little scrunched or something like that. And I started thinking about it, and I'm like, you know what, that probably is because I'm looking at it at the wrong angle and stuff. So I've tried to adjust for that over time. It's still a struggle, but when you see artists use easels, that's why. It's not just a prop for their canvas or something like that. It's also to aid in the process. Hmm. Some food for thought there, Trusted. So now that like the basics of the head is there, I can come back and I can add like little highlights through its cheek. Again, you're not drawing every individual piece of fur, but you can throw in like a few lines here and there, like really bright to kind of like catch the light, that sort of thing. This is the stuff that people look at and say, wow, look at all those details in it and stuff. Um, which, it is. It is where the details are and stuff like that. But part of it is just like, fleshing out your picture. And you can spend a lot of time on this. Like if you really wanted to create an ultra realistic picture, this is where you do it. You get your basic picture down. If you can get that done in like an hour or two or something like that, or even less if you're really good at it, um, you're good to go. And then like then you spend like 2 3 weeks or whatever adding like lots and lots of details, you know, toying with the tonal values of different parts of it and stuff like that. And it really does help. I mean, I say all the time, I don't really have the patience to spend that much time with it, but if you did, it's because like the bulk of your picture is already in there. Like here, I'm looking at this here, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of flat. So I'll come in, I'll add some, really press down some hard and get like some much wider um, patches in here, and that creates like three dimensionality essentially. And then I look at this and I'm like, oh, that's just like a single line or whatever. There really should be you know, some eyebrow coming up. Remember how I said, well, I'm going to leave this kind of like bland? That's because I knew that there would be some highlights that come in over it and stuff. And you just, you know, kind of keep it loose when it's fur, unless you're like, I don't know, working from a photo of like something for a client or something, and you really want to try a little bit harder to make sure that it captures the likeness. But in the most part, it's just you're just doing flicks of the wrist when it comes to fur. Like if you were trying to draw like each individual line of fur, that's going to take forever. I like even if it might screw up a little bit, it's just like little flicks of the wrist. And then up here as well, there's like little places where it catches the light. Now through here, it is mostly dark, but you have these like little highlights coming over it. And I kind of hinted at that earlier with some of my marks, but now that it's further along, I can come back and kind of like really like this line through here should really be brighter. And then put in like a little couple little flicks of the wrist to bring that brow down into this other area here. This is kind of light here, but this is really where it catches that light. So I kind of want to go back over this, kind of like brighten that up a little bit. This is all the stuff that kind of like really makes the cat pop out of the page. And don't get me wrong, like just a few short months ago, I probably wouldn't have noticed that all of these little things come together like this and stuff. But the more I do it, the more I realize like, yeah, okay, this is what I need to do. And that's what I call progress. I am so happy with the progress I've made in like drawing over the last year. And I really do feel like anybody can do this. Anybody who spends the time developing their basically muscle memory can draw pictures like this. And I'm not saying this is the best picture in the world, but you could look at this and say, yeah, that looks like a cat. So if you spent the time and effort, I think that you too can draw cats. In fact, maybe that's what I'll give this the title of, like how to draw a cat, because it's not just drawing a cat. It's like between my talk of aliens and World War III, there's probably some nuggets in here about how to draw a cat. And florkins. I do like that term, florkins. Is anybody in here planning on watching the Marvels movie when it comes out next week? It's supposed to come out on the 10th. I haven't heard a lot of buzz around it, and I think it might actually flop, but I like the characters. I'm gonna go and see it probably opening day, and hopefully there's enough people out there that are into Marvel movies still. I know that there's some like superhero fatigue where some people are kind of over it. It's not like the heyday of Marvel movies like it used to be, but I still like it. And they've made some mistakes, and I feel like they're going to try to course correct. Hopefully, it's not too late. But I'm really digging Loki. Like, I don't know if you guys have seen the new season of Loki. It's really good. I enjoy it. You have to watch the first season, though. So, like, if you haven't seen the first season, you wouldn't understand what's going on in the second season. But the second season, I'm really enjoying. I like Tom Hiddleston. He's a great actor. And I like the character of Loki. I actually drew Loki a couple of weeks back just to kind of like celebrate its return, and I'm glad I did because like it's actually a good season. I don't. People complain about everything on the internet, so like if you go looking, you probably find some complaints about Loki and stuff, but I haven't heard anything that I consider like warranted complaints. So like I categorize things as like, all right, these complaints are actually deserved, and these complaints are just dumb. I haven't heard any good complaints about Loki season two. I think it's pretty good. All right, so that's looking pretty good. I'm gonna come back to the eye now that I feel comfortable that things have progressed a bit. First off, I want to make sure that the actual eyeball is round. I didn't spend a lot of time on that earlier. Look at this one over here. This one's kind of light. All right. And I've got this gel pen over here I wanted to use for the highlights on the eyes just because this is like ultra white and it kind of stands out. And I can use it to get precise. Yeah, that's a bit much. Kind of screwed that up a little bit, but I'll fix it. And over here, there's a couple of marks. You got to be careful with this white gel pen stuff. I do use it a lot in these type of pictures. These pictures that are done on black paper, but you have to be kind of careful with it because it's so bright. You know, I'm gonna lift some of that up. Yeah, see, it kind of screwed up a little bit. I am going to use my black pen to kind of fix that smudge. And then if you use a black pen, you got to kind of be a little bit careful as well because like the actual paper is sort of gray. So like if you use this black, it may be almost like too black, but I feel comfortable doing this. Set the brush on, I'm gonna use a different pen. But yeah, this white's super white. That's the only reason I'm doing these like touch-ups here. I can fix up some of this. I wanted that to be kind of curved. Yeah, I think that looks cool. And then maybe like a little indent up here. Just little details, you know. And then I think I will use some of that white in some of the fur areas just to kind of like really give it this like third dimensional level of like super bright. So like up here, again, you're working over wax here, so like it's a little tough to get it perfect. But you see how I'm smearing it out. It's like I'm only using it to like kind of give this white, but then I smear it out so that it's not like this harsh line. It's just I really want this extra white layer that I can't really get with my pencil because the pencil is slightly transparent, you know. It's meant to be. Again, it's wax based. It's meant to blend with other colors, so you're not going to get like a super white out of it. Where this forehead interacting with the light, I do kind of want it to be a little bit lighter than other places. Yeah, this is my white gel pen. Like it's kind of my go-to for like really the last minute of like adding a bunch of highlights and just like popping features, because it is like so stark white. Like it doesn't matter if I'm using this in like a painting or watercolor or anything like that. Whatever you put white on, it's going to like really be bright. So I want to use it sparingly, and I don't want it to look like a pen, so that's why I'm doing this smudging bit. But I think it works really well. Now, if I was doing this in pastel, this is the part where I would be using my chunky part of pastel because it's like super opaque, and that does the same thing. So like if I'm doing a drawing with my colored pencils, this is my go-to. And if I'm doing a like a pastel work, this wouldn't work with pastel, so I would be using that really opaque, soft white pastel. And for something like this, I think pastel is probably overkill. I really just wanted to draw tonight. I didn't want to paint. I didn't want to paint in pastel, or I didn't want to paint with my actual paint. I wanted to do like a legitimate drawing tonight. Something cute, something that was a drawing. I don't know if you guys have noticed or not, but I like to vary up what I work on so that I don't forget something I've already learned. So even though I'm really working on my painting right now, I'm trying to get better at painting. Um, Now and then I'll come back and I'll want to draw again just so that I don't lose those skills that I picked up by not using them, which I think is true. Like we were talking about musical instruments earlier. I used to play the clarinet when I was a kid, like I don't know, sixth grade or something like that. I couldn't, for the life of you, for the life of me, tell you how to play a clarinet now. I don't remember how to read the sheet music. I don't remember how to like. I can figure out how to hold it, but I wouldn't know how to play any notes. And I used to be really good at it when I was a kid. So I do think that not only do you have to like practice to get better at your skills, you have to continue practicing to retain those things. I don't know how true that is, but I don't feel like it's riding a bike. You know, these are skills that if you don't use them, you lose them. Or I can say that about the music. I don't know if that's true about this these artistic skills, but I don't want to test it. I don't I want to retain these things. So like you gotta keep working with it to retain it, I think. Or at least that's what I'm going with. It's like white bit here where it catches the light. I kind of like that. So like these little highlights, they really do stand out, you know. And I don't want to overdo it. Like there's a risk of overdoing it here, you know, where it becomes like where it ends up looking like I painted it or something like that. But as long as you don't overdo it, this is good. Oh yeah, enjoy your concert. Let me know how it goes and tell her. And I don't want to say break a leg because I don't know if that's a good tradition or not. But uh, yeah, good luck. There we go. That's what I want. That's what I want to say. I'm sure she'll do fine. Yeah, we're almost done here, guys. We're coming up on the 2 hour mark anyway. Get a few more little highlights in here, but I like it. I think it looks cool. Again, most of this is because I saw that 8 hour kitty video yesterday. It was just so adorable. They have what I also think about it, was cool about it, is not just a promotion for the movie. They were doing it for charity. Like they were trying to get people to adopt these. They call them flurkins, but they were cats. They were trying to get people to adopt these cats. I would support programs like that anyway. I think that's great. There's a lot of animals out there that need homes. In fact, I should probably find um, a similar thing to throw in the links on my videos just to kind of get the word out there. I don't have like a ton of viewers, but you know, every little bit helps, I'm sure. You gotta be careful with these whiskers because they are like they're not sketched lines. All right, I think it's looking good. All right, so there are some areas that I feel are like overdone, and then I think the way you can kind of fix that, you can come back with your actual colored pencil and just kind of fill in around those areas so that it's not like so stark, you know, like I don't want it to look like there's just these like little dots that pop up out of nowhere. So I can kind of fill in some of these areas, I think, with the pencil so that they're not so dramatic, you know. So it's like a balance. Basically, by coming back like this, I can kind of blend in some of those so that they're not so like you don't want to go from black to like just like ultra white for no reason. Kind of blend in some of that stuff. They're just meant to be like brighter than others and stuff like that. They're not supposed to like be standalone. Like some of these up here, they actually do look like pen marks. So if I come back over them really hard with the colored pencil, I can kind of soften that so that it's not so bad. Hey Richard, I forgot I made you blue. Like you popped up as blue. I'm like, yeah, what happened there? Okay, so you can say break a leg. All right, but please don't actually break a leg. Yeah, it's kind of a Morris kitty. I think they're like tabby cats. I don't know the proper term for it. But it's cute. I'm calling it a flurkin, so for like Captain Marvel, which is in theaters next week. If you guys are into that thing, that sort of thing. I just I'm into all kinds of pop culture things. But we're getting close to being done here, guys. I think this looks pretty good. So throwing some really white because like here on the ear, it is catching the light. So throwing some like super highlight there, and then kind of blend it in by making marks around it. Now, when you go to make marks around it, you're going over that gel, so it's tough. You have to really press hard, but it works. I think there was a little bit of a white ridge through here too. Oh, that looks like a kitty cat. It's so cute. Such a cute little kitty cat. Meow meow meow. Where's my kitty cat? My kitty cat. Ah, I went meow meow and the kitty cat looked up. My cat's name is Archer, by the way, named after the cartoon. Love that show. That's such a great show. 1 second. Eh, some white down through here. Again, it's just constant refining of the picture until you get it to where you're happy with it. I'm almost happy with it. Some of these areas I just need to like press really hard in order to get the lines that I want. Looking cool. 9 lives. I think that might be the cat food we paid them. I don't know. Like there's this bag of cat food that I buy every single time and I don't remember the brand. I just know what the bag looks like. Fur going up into the ear. So I don't know if you guys are watching as this happened, but just like the whole face took on a new dimension by doing this technique of applying this ultra light areas and then blending it in. Like I'll show you a section now. So pay attention to this section and how that works. So I'll come in. Problem is I get wax up in this thing and it becomes useless. But these were cheap. I don't mind just kind of going back over. Anyway, so I'll add a bunch of little white through here. And I think there was some that kind of came around here. And maybe like a line or two. All right, so now that looks kind of like a pen. It doesn't look like that on camera because like the focus isn't as great, but here in person that kind of looks like a pen. So I'll smear that and then I'll come back with my colored pencil and kind of blend that in. And then that super white highlight that I put in with the gel pen just becomes part of all the other white. And the result, see how it looks on camera, is that this entire face here, as it's subtle, I know, like it's hard to really see the difference, but now that whole bridge of the nose is so much whiter, which is good because it should be catching the light. And I kind of wanted, I still want some dark areas through here, but the more I look at this, all of this should be really white through here. Kind of getting those big solid areas of fur that are lit up by the whatever light. I would say this is moonlight. I'm gonna go with moonlight. Whatever moonlight is catching this cat, it's really highlighting these areas of the face. I think that looks pretty cool. Looks like a nice three-dimensional cat. Um, there were some whiskers coming out on this side, some long whiskers. I'll try to pencil those in. Hopefully I won't screw this up because I'm happy with it. Just some light whiskers coming up. And then there was like a whisker that kind of comes up and out like that. And then maybe this one's a little bit thicker. Try to draw that a little bit more. All right, that might be a little bit long. So I'm gonna have to erase the end of that. Which it's really tough to erase colored pencils because it is wax, but I feel like I went too far with that one. Oh, let me just kind of scrub there. There we go, that's not too bad. All right, so that's pretty good. And then there were like two others, I think. Like shorter ones. And it kind of comes down like that. All right, so he's got some whiskers coming out the side. And then there's like little tiny furs that kind of come off. You have to be careful along the edge here because you don't want to overdo it, but you do kind of, you know, that's it's basically light on black and everything. So like you do kind of want to catch some of that. And I think I can take some of this white. How are we doing on time? I should probably be wrapping this up, but I do think that I'm about done. I wanted to kind of highlight some of this through here in that same technique. Just really get that light in there. And of course, when at least that bottom, because that bottom, yeah. Yeah, this is a pretty kitty. It's a little kitty cat. Gotta talk goo goo to a kitty cat. You're a pretty kitty cat. Meow. All right, I'm pretty happy with this, guys. I think I'm gonna call it done. Get a lot of white up in there. Basically scribble that white in. They got these soft little velvety noses too. Like it's so hard to draw, but like just like a little bit of pigment through there. That'll do it. Yeah. At this point, I run the risk of like overdoing it, so I think I am gonna call this done. Get a little bit of white up through there. Shorten that nose a little bit. Oops, got my pen. All right. I think it's about done. Um, I'm pretty happy with it. Trying to think of anything I would change. I think the only thing that I would do different is probably spend a little bit more time with it and really kind of like develop some of this fur a little bit more. I feel like it's in a good spot. I'm not embarrassed by it. Um, and I'm sorry, like that's the wrong way to state. I'm very happy with this. There's no question that I'm not embarrassed by it. Um, but I do think I can add a few little details here and there and stuff that really makes it pop and really kind of fleshes out some of these areas. But for the most part, I'm pretty happy with it. I think it looks like a kitty. Get some fur going up here. You see a mouse. Yeah, this is the great mouse I drew. Hey, Death of Doomsday. I hope Death of Doomsday isn't here for me in particular. But as long as you're here for us all in general, that's cool. But yeah, I think I got a kitty cat going here. All right. So I am going to call this done. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me on this Friday night. Again, all I really wanted to do was something cute and fuzzy and something to kind of cleanse our palate from all those scary monsters and stuff that I've been drawing for Halloween. And I think this is right on the money. It's a very pretty cat. I think anybody can look at this and just kind of like melt inside because it's so cute. It's got these real soulful eyes. I'm very happy with this cat. Let me go back to me here. So hopefully you guys feel the same. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. I'm doing great. Death of Doomsday. Just wrapping it up right now. Gotta get the dogs out and pretty happy with this picture. Yeah, so like hopefully you guys agree that this is a cool picture. I'll try to do more of these in the future. I don't want it to all be painting and man, this is running all over the place. Let's see if, there you go. I want to do some more painting just to practice with that. But I don't want to, and I mentioned this earlier in the show. I don't want to lose some of my other skills. So I'm gonna come back to pictures like this where I'm working with drawing as well, and keep with the pastel stuff. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. Obviously, with the holidays coming up, you can expect some holiday pictures as well. But we'll see how it goes. Oh, there's my kitty. Hey, kitty, kitty. That's my kitty, Arthur. And the dogs want to eat my kitty. Anyway, I'm going to call it a night. Hope you guys have a great weekend. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you guys Tuesday. Have a good one. Bye.